I've finally at 54 come to realize that's not it at all. That's what midlife looks like for a lot of us. And I'm okay with it. I have friends I love deeply, my sisters and friends who have known me through everything, but I don't get to see them. Many of them live hundreds of miles away, if not thousands of miles away. And for the longest time, I would think that something was wrong with my life. The truth is that many of my friends live in Mexico, where I used to live, a very touristy area. So that meant that I had friends that were Mexican nationals, and I also had friends that had moved there from the US or from Canada. And it was a real sense of community. People lived within proximity of each other, so we got to see each other quite frequently. And I felt very connected to my friends when I lived in Mexico. Since I've moved back to the US, now I'm closer to my sisters in proximity, but they're all spread out through California and I rarely get to see them. And so, what has finally come to my realization is that my friendships with my sisters and my friends don't look at all like what I would have liked. It would be ideal if I could see my sisters, since I'm here in the US now, on weekends for coffee, but that just hasn't been the reality. And I've come to realize that just isn't the reality for a lot of people. Maybe the idea in our head is that we can still go out and have brunch, that we're going to be pinging each other like maybe we did in our younger years to meet up. But everyone is in their own world, doing their own thing, and meeting up physically isn't as much a priority for people these days, and it just doesn't seem as practical anymore because we have that distance. And let's face it, most of us don't have the time freedom that we wish we had. So that has been a big realization for me and a point of acceptance. I've had to learn to accept that fact as time has gone on, and I'm getting more comfortable with it. And I'll tell you why. The reason is I'm developing my own rituals that are helping me stay connected. I definitely make an effort to reach out through phone calls or sending a nice text or a nice message to friends that are afar and even to my sisters. And I do make an effort to see my sisters whenever possible, whether they're coming into town to see my parents and I can meet up with them to see them, or making plans to meet them where they are. Most of them are within an hour of a distance, and so that takes a little bit of planning, but really starting to make that an intention, whether it's a phone call more regularly or making those plans to physically meet, is something that I am much more intentional about to make sure that I'm still nurturing those relationships. For the ones in Mexico, I do the same thing. I do reach out through phone calls or texts. And recently I took a few trips to Mexico for other reasons, but I made an effort to see some of my friends while I was there. And that was very nourishing to my heart and soul. I know that I'm not going to be able to do that as often as I would like, but I have come to accept and I'm comfortable with maintaining those relationships in the best way I can, which is through phone calls and through text messaging. I've come to realize also that since I've been in the US, I've moved through some grief around that, around the fact that I wasn't going to be able to see a lot of my friends that I was so used to seeing. And so that in itself was bereavement, loss of physical contact with people that you really enjoyed being with. I'm starting over in a new area. As I had mentioned in previous videos, I'm in a new area because I want to be closer to my parents who are aging. And that has meant starting over in a lot of different ways. One of those ways is not having friends in this new area that I'm in. And I have become more discerning about who I want to let into my life through many life experiences that have shown me, even though I'm a caring, very empathetic person, and I know I have a lot to offer, you can't let just anyone into your life. You have to be more discerning about who those people are, because a lot of people, unfortunately, are carrying baggage from their past, traumas from their past that are unhealed wounds, and they tend to project some of that onto you. So that's no judgment, because I've certainly come from unhealed wounds at one time in my life, and who knows, I may still be carrying some, but I feel very confident that I've healed a lot of it. And so it's really important to just be more careful with who we surround ourselves with, because we want to be in reciprocal relationships with people that are also going to give you the same kind of caring, respect, attention that you're prepared to give. Friendships are a give and take, right? There has to be reciprocity. And so also learning to not trust right away, having this nice dance happen in the beginning about giving a little bit of trust, seeing where it goes, having that other person do the same thing, to where you're little by little building upon trust, respect, love, basically watering that plant little by little so that it's growing little by little. And that's something that I didn't do before. I used to let anybody into my life. If they wanted to be my friend, I was open to it because I believed in the best in people, and I believed if somebody needed a friend, I was here for them. And to a large degree, I still believe that. I am still open, but I'm more discerning because I've been burned in the past several times now by people that just don't have the best intentions. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't have to say that. So we do have to be more careful and more discerning. That's just my opinion. I would love to know what you think about that. What I'm learning is that if you have people in your life that you love that you don't get to see, it doesn't mean that you're failing at life. It just means that this is the stage for many of us in midlife where things change, relocations change, people have either growing children at this stage that require their attention, or they have aging parents. Maybe they have both. In my case, it's that I am near my aging parents. I don't have children. But anything in life can steer you away from your core friendships. And so not being able to see them doesn't mean that all is lost. Just building some rituals around that can help you feel less lonely. I would love to know what you think and what's helping you feel less lonely in midlife. And I'll see you in the next video.